Hey, this is Mike from Darkest Hour, and you're listening to the Vulgar Display of Podcast.
Hi, and welcome to the Vulgar Display of Podcast live from the Barn Studio. You got the Mox, Anthony, and Dale here. Fellas, what's up?
Yo. Glad to be back.
You guys are just freshly back from a show at Pops with Exodus, Undeath, Fit for an Autopsy, and the special guest that we have online right now, Darkest Hour, Mike from Darkest Hour. Mike, how are you, man?
What's happening? I am on this podcast. Let's hang.
Let's hang. Let's do it. Let's
Here
do the
I
thing.
am.
Here you are.
Pretty.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Pops was a great time. Pops was a blast. And well played on coming out to Dre and Snoop Dogg, the last episode. That was a good intro.
That's what we call our go fucking pee real quick song, right?
Let's go.
So
Yes.
we know that some metalheads are adverse to the idea of, hip hop, okay, at a concert. I get it. But, we come from a very blended place. And for us, it's just like ginger to your sushi, if you will. We just sort of like palate cleanse the moment. And we always pick a song that we know real well, right?
Oh, yeah.
And this song gives you the time to be like, all right, changeover has happened. The show is about to begin. Is there anything you need to do? Like, is your in-ears fucked up? You need to go to the bathroom? Did you lose all your guitar picks? Like, you have
that time
till the next episode is over. That motherfucker said, smoke weed every day. You better be ready to go, right? So
yes, and you guys were. It was perfect.
It's a technical thing that happened. Not only is it a celebration. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
But we had a blast at that show as we did on the whole tour. It was an awesome tour.
Yeah, so it seemed like it was a really special moment for you at that night. I don't know if it happened on any of the other tour stops, but you actually joined Exodus on stage.
Yeah, man, this is wild. So I don't know if you all know, but guys in bands are just nerds too, and we're all super fans also. And so as soon as we got on tour with Exodus, I'm like, we had our other guitar player, Nico. He actually knew Gary and knew all the Exodus guys because he had done some time in Suicidal Tendencies. And on his 25th birthday, he had toured with Exodus. And actually, he turned 35 on this tour with Exodus, which was like kind of a crazy feat. So Nico kind of knew everybody, and we had met them before in Europe a few summers back, same way, just like playing festivals, sharing backstage area and stuff. So we were like lightly acquainted, but then as soon as we got on the tour, I immediately started punishing them like, yo, how do you play this riff? What do you guys do? How do you play this riff? And then it turned into like, yo, come up here at sound check. And then eventually Lee, the other guitar shredder in Exodus, was like, you got to come play on stage. And so I would do that a couple nights, and then it turned to like, hey, come on, play the whole song. So then I did that a couple nights. And then Jack, the bass player of Exodus, his dad got sick and he had to like go home before they could finish out the tour. So then they asked me to learn all the songs on bass and finish the tour on bass. So actually, I just played 4 days of tour with Exodus playing bass, which is wild to even say.
Yeah.
And I've just returned back to reality and now interviews. But I had no idea when I started the tour, I would be an Exodus super fan. And by the end,
a member.
I will have played an Exodus. Yeah, but it was awesome. And
I'm basically
they're
an
great
Exodus
dudes. Nah, they're great dudes. And I was happy to help them out. It was like one of those musical challenge kind of just moments of your career where someone's like, can you do this? Like, can you learn 14 songs on bass and then perform it with the band stuff. And it was like, I lived the tour just like all the other dudes in Darkest Hour. Like, we love this shit. So it wasn't an issue of like, could I stay on tour longer? It was just a matter of like, how long would it take me to learn these songs so I could have fun and rock with these guys,
Mm-hmm,
So
absolutely.
yeah, man, it was a special moment every time I got to play with them. But it is a story I'll be able to be like to tell people about, like, yo, my winter with Exodus.
And you started Darkest Hour back in 1995, and here we are, 2023. I mean, here we go. Here we got
Well deserved.
So
Thanks, man.
you're a lifer in this game. Is it hard to think about some of the moments like that of a career that's expanded that many years?
I mean, it's like nostalgia is weird because like you can get caught up in it, and then it can get you tricked into thinking like you deserve something more than you're supposed to get. So like it's like important to reflect with that lens on. You know what I mean? But definitely on that tour, like the first time that I played Toxic Waltz on stage, I was like, well, this is fucked up, man. It's crazy, and then just getting to know the guys was wild. And then waking up on the tour bus, like when I was filling in on bass, was just like, that's a surreal moment where you're like, this is fucking crazy. And I think it's just, there's two things about it. Like, you have to also have sort of this insane amount of stupid confidence in yourself to be able to say like, yeah, I'll learn 14 songs and be able to do it, and it's like the reward for kind of taking a risk on yourself sometimes are these like magic moments that you get. But, just with everything, like they pass, and then there you are again right there. So it's kind of like important to just sort of focus on knowing that like, every time you get something really cool, like there is an end in sight, and so it's just like enjoy it while you have it, and then be ready to like start fishing again kind of thing. So while it was just so fucking insane, that trip that I was just on and that tour, it's like, it's wild to have been home for like a few days and already be like planning the next tour, planning the album release, working on this second music video, planning the next single. It's like, man, you just hit the ground and you just keep running. And I think that helps you not get bogged down and like standing around going like, whoa, I can't believe what I just did, because you're just busy like on to the next thing.
And let's get into it. Let's talk about the next thing. February 23rd, Perpetual Terminal is the album. You have the video out with the title track as well. Tell us a little bit about the album, how it represents the evolution of the Darkest Hour sound.
Well, as you mentioned, man, we're kind of old timers. 1995 is when we started the band. This is our 10th album. It took us a long time between this album and our last album to put this album together, mainly because there was a short period of time where we were like, well, we made the best album of our lives, so maybe we don't make records anymore. Maybe we make singles. Maybe we don't give a shit. Who cares? Look at the internet, And then over a period of time, we started rediscovering and it's me, especially over the pandemic, like I feel like everybody sort of went through this moment where you kind of ask yourself, like, what am I doing with my life? What am I gonna be doing with my life? Like, just sort of like that shit was just brutal. And then out of all of it, reality kind of spinning out again and coming back to like, okay, like I really do want to play in a band for a living. Like, what the fuck? Like, man, we need to like make an album. And it really wasn't until we did our Deliver Us kind of not a reunion, but like a retrospective tour where we played our Deliver Us album in its entirety. We did a short US tour. It really wasn't until that tour happened and like people were so fucking excited. They were excited to go back to shows. They're excited to see music again. They're excited to hear an album that they loved. People like reunited with friends and like drove to shows and flew to places, and the energy was just so crazy. We were just sort of like re-energized to be like, wow, like people like music that we did. Like we should do like new music, because like we have all this new music and we have all these really talented people. Like, what the fuck? And so then we sort of doubled down, and I had been working on a ton of material, like sort of pushing it in that direction, like post pandemic. Like we had been using this website we have called we have a Patreon that we had made right before the pandemic and then leaned on heavily to connect with people and sort of fund the making of this album. And so once that sort of happened, you know, you're taking people's money to make something. There's a little bit of weight there. They're like your most loyal fucking dedicated fans because they're the ones taking part in a Patreon. Then you go out on tour and people, you feel the energy. I've been working on music that whole time, but then it was really like, okay, so what do we have? And then we started to collaborate, and then the other guys got involved, and we're not a band where like, well, I just write everything and everybody shows up and takes all the glory or something. Like, we actually collaborate. So while that can be painful for a lot of people who are in bands to understand, because a lot of people in modern music, they've lost the art of learning how to create together in a group and sort of compromise and have ideas, build ideas together. The thing about this is it can be problematic, it can be hard, but when it works and it's good, it can be explosive on a level like that a lot of people have no idea exists. Because when you have multiple people who are ultra talented working together on something, breathing life into it, it can take a direction that cannot be imagined by one person. While one person can like direct an entire, you know, vision for something, like a group of people can really make something that is like larger than life and larger than any of those individuals, and almost an individual onto its own, you know? And it wasn't until we started doing that together that it really caught on fire fast, and we had enough material. We started to see what the songs were about. We started to figure out what the message of the album was going to be about. And then we had the really quick, frank discussion of like, where are we going to record this and how are we going to record it? And we decided to produce it ourselves. And then it was just like wildfire kind of thing.
So, Mike, what are kind of the emotions that you go through whenever you put yourselves out there and you have the fans coming back and supporting you and realizing, holy shit, these people actually want to hear what I create? Does that fuel the fire even more, or how do the feelings work there?
I mean, it's okay. Really, it shouldn't matter. No, you should, as a musician, you should arm your soul to the point where you're like, I do not give a fuck what you think. I'm just creating. But I mean, if you're being real, of course, when you're making art that you want people to enjoy, you want them to like it. So, you know, you have to in some way start to learn how to take feedback, and then that gets dangerous. So understanding how to take positive feedback is an art, you know, how to not take it in the wrong way and how to just digest it, not to how to belittle someone when they say that they love it. So I think for me and that some of the guys, the emotion that happens right away when someone says they like something you did is probably first relief, you know, that like, just like some kind of creative relief, like, oh, well, like somebody likes something, you know, not even like, there's no pride or anything. It's just like straight up like relief. And then the immediate like fear of just like, oh fuck, I gotta get away. Like, no one likes to hear anything said good about them. You know what I mean? It's like just hard for anyone really.
I
so it's just, you know, so then you're just like, fuck, okay. Yeah. But I joked about being the Dave Lee Roth of metalcore or whatever, but like one thing I'm not afraid to do is stand and take the brunt of somebody's like excitement. Cause I know how much like the other dudes can get just like want to crawl into their thing. And the thing for me is that I am that fan. Like I am that person that punished Exodus, you know, punished Body Count to hang out with Ice-T. Like I will do that because I love music that much. So I can relate to when people get geeky and get excited or even get emotional or just get endearing on us. And so I think for me, it's easy to just sort of go from that relief stage of like, oh, somebody likes something, to go to that like, oh, you want to tell me that you like this, and I want you to know that I appreciate that, but also I want to hear your story. You know what I mean? I want to hear like, how do you relate? What brought you to this? Why do you like it? And then immediately, if I actually like am really in the zone and like paying attention and want to dig deeper, the next thing I usually ask someone is like, how did you find out about Darkest Hour, or where did you find out? Because then that usually tells a story like about where they come from or part of their metal journey that you can usually kind of like peer into and kind of start to get to know someone. You know what I mean? Sure. So I don't know. I think the reaction is relief. You know?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you ever surprised when you have like a new Darkest Hour fan? Because like I said, you guys have been around for so long, just, a staple in the metal game. Is it ever surprising you? Like, I just caught you guys, I just learned about you guys last month or something, and here we are. Is that ever surprising to you?
I mean, I know that this is going to sound like shitty, but everyone is surprising. I mean, it's a magical thing. Like, someone likes your fucking band. That's amazing. Like, each one is incredible,
Oh, we do
like,
know, yeah.
For sure.
Anyone who's ever done a band, believe me, I have done this band and failed, and I have done other bands and failed, and other bands and had success that look bigger than they are, and blah, blah, blah. Anyone that's done a band knows, like, how hard it is to get anyone to listen, or like anything. That was no different for us. So I just think it's like every time someone stops me at a fucking Best Buy or in the middle of a mall or at an ice skating rink or somewhere fucking random that I'm at, and like out of nowhere, it's like, oh my God, you're Mike from Darkest Hour. Like that, like I immediately, am in a conversation with that person, and it's like a lot of times those people are super rad and just like me, and like they're the bartender or they're the dude who's fixing your car or they're whoever. They're just people that like metal. And they know that you like it your whole life because it's all you've done, and they do too. And they immediately, not to steal a term, but you're bonded by blood. You're like fucking, you're in that subculture, and then immediately you get to meet this person, and that's like that's sort of the magical give back of writing the song. Like you write the song, people love the song, you get to know people, then those relationships enrich your experience all over the world. It's kind of a nice circle,
We have this game on our Facebook group where it's like metal in not metal places, right? So like I'm out with the family at the carnival, and then this guy's wearing like an obituary shirt or something. So I sneak a picture of him. Do you ever run into somebody like in wearing a Darkest Hour shirt and they don't recognize you or see it in a kind of an odd place?
Maybe it's not more so of the shirt, but it'll just be like people that will recognize me, like somebody at my daughter's school who randomly works there, who like, you're like, oh my God, like, whoa, like you're just at a parent teacher conference, and then someone's like, oh my God, and then all of a sudden you're like,
rip.
Yeah,
y'all shred.
You're like, man, that fucking time you took this bottle of Jack Daniels and blah blah blah. You're like, hey man,
my daughter's right here,
dude. Like, no, I mean, and believe me, I'm the exact same character in front of her as I am on the internet, but it is funny, that juxtaposition where. And it'll happen to me like at the post office, because I do a Patreon, I do all the mail outs, like, and I'll be down there and like, I mean, no joke. It's like, I just had to unload a truck full of gear, do a bunch of fucking mail outs. I gotta do something else. I'm dressed like shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I might even be wearing Crocs. Who knows the fuck what I look like, right? And then, dude, Mike from Darkest Hour, what the fuck? Oh, take a picture. Oh, let's make a video for my cousin real quick. Like, he's being bullied in school, and we want, send him a message of this and that. And I'm like, fuck, I'm in like, I'm in my Crocs and a fucking pair of sweatpants with a hoodie that's covered in oil paint. From
I'm just like, Mike right now.
With my kid. No, but I'm not. But it's just wild that it's like, okay, a really sad interpretation of this is the movie The Wrestler. You've ever seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
It's an incredible movie, and it really touches on the dark side of this feeling. So I live on the lighter side of it, which is that I am that character, and it, luckily isn't currently killing me. But, like, it's hard to kind of be just a regular person buying cat litter, and then also, like, a dude from this, a way that people think a band's supposed to be, Mm-hmm. Luckily, I will say this, all are just, you're the same way, like you're metal lifers too. And I think metal there's this place where there is this sort of working class thing that exists where like it's okay to like be Mark from Lamb of God, who also is working on his truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And Mark from Lamb of God doesn't have to have like a Lamborghini. He can just like
and
be out there on
Instagram.
and then fuck it, and then he'll go rip an arena, you know. And I think there's something too about metal as like what people like, and I've said this in an interview or two lately too, is that one common thread amongst people that love metal, like maybe you only love skull death metal like Undeath, or maybe you only like thrash metal, whatever. You can all agree on one thing, which is that you like shit that is what it is, says what it is, and is what it is. Like, so if it's, brutal death metal, like Cannibal Corpse, it is what it is, and people like it. And you can at least respect that it is that way. And I think that, that's the case for the way that the fans are. Like, it's like, if you're a real person and you're doing this and you're not an actor, that's what people react to. You know what I mean? That's what they want more. They don't want somebody that looks the way that they think it's supposed to be, but isn't a real person, because it's just not, it's not something that it seems like most metal people connect with. I mean, yeah, you can have your fantasies, you can have dudes in masks and whatever, but for the most part, I think things that connect are things that feel like they relate to people, even in the lyrics of those bands that have a lot of fantasy,
We have the new album coming out February 23rd, Perpetual Terminal. Any tour announcements to help support this new record? Should we be expecting some tour announcements soon?
When does this come out?
When do you want it
What
out?
is this interview? Wait.
Yeah, when do you want it put out, sir?
We'll release
Wait,
it
I'm
whenever
in charge?
you want. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm in charge of this shit?
You're driving.
Oh, fuck. Well, I got to look at my calendar. Well, let's just say that,
Or
who cares? And here's, we are going to be announcing a major U.S. tour that will exist or coincide with that release date.
Okay.
So you ain't heard about it yet because of the holidays. Right after the holidays, we're dropping another single. Yeah. We're dropping another single. We're dropping a whole bunch of tour dates. It's going to be a big U.S. tour, a massive U.S. tour from basically, February, the end of February, all the way to the middle of April, right? We're going to go, we're going to fucking dig in. It's been a long time since we went across America. We've done a lot of European touring. We just went to Japan, went to South America recently. Like, the world's a big place and we've been running all over, but we are coming to Des Moines and we're coming to St. Louis and we're coming to all the motherfuckers in the middle. We just want to bring it to the streets that, the album's out. We're going to be playing a bunch of new songs and a bunch of old songs. We're going to be playing like a full headline set. I mean,
Good.
It's tough to dig in when you're doing 30 minutes and when you're a 30-year-old band, and we made it work on the last tour we're on, but there's a lot of ground we can cover, and the shows can really be like kind of a lot more magical when you can expand on them. So this is it. We're going to do that tour. And then, man, we have a badass tour for America in the summer that I cannot tell you about. That later on, you're going to be like, oh, damn.
We'll be at that one too.
We have a bunch of European festivals that are already announced. So we're going to go there for about 10 days. And we're looking to, we've always done really well and always had like a really strong like touring history in Germany and Eastern Europe. So we're kind of looking to go back there by the end of the year. And also we have been talking about trying to hit like another secondary headline tour by the end of the year. But this is the year, trust me, motherfuckers have been doing all the shit that they need to do at home to be able to go on tour. And next year's the year that we're going to double down and have a record and go out here and do what we do and do what we've been meaning to do for a long time. So yes, you're going to see lots of tour announcements and lots more music videos. We're going to make more music videos for this album than we've ever made on any other album. So we're going to kind of just be making a lot more content. We bring a media person with us now. We're going to keep doing the Patreon and doing a lot of exclusive content. We have a ton of behind the scenes video and a lot of unreleased music, a lot of other songs that didn't make it that we experimented with, giving away some of that stuff on the Patreon during the pandemic. That's something else we talked about doing. So, we're kind of just like, it's existing in this space where it's so crazy that there's always something going on, but also we really enjoy that because it feels like there's a movement in one direction. Whereas, in the past, we've been struggling to find a direction of like where to work on what, so we're coming. 2024 is going to be the year.
We're ready.
Mike from Darkest Hour, the David Lee Roth of metal. We're excited.
See, now you're saying. Yeah. Now you're saying it
Forever.
We're excited for this album to come out February 23rd. Perpetual Terminal. If you're listening to this, go check out the video and any other further releases coming up. Mike, we can't wait to have you back in town, and we really appreciate your time today, man.
I'll be back with more nicknames soon enough.
Yes.
Damn right. So. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. Cheers. Party on, guys.
Yes. Damn right. And that was very awesome.
Yes.
Later.